You know what that means? Court is in session. And this week in Court Case, we actually want to address an issue. And I don't really feel like it's an issue. I feel like it's something that maybe needs to be discussed in a wider context, because there probably isn't a player in league history that has controlled his narrative in terms of where he plays and the direction of his career better than LeBron James. Look, it isn't just from a basketball skill set. It isn't just from a monetary skill set. It's everything that he brings in terms of value to a franchise. And I'm going to coin a new saying, yeah, because as you can see from the animation below me, I think two James are better than none. And LeBron James has been very vocal in saying that Bronny James, as we know, is going to be entering the league very, very soon. But we are raising up his eligibility and saying that he could be even worth a lottery pick in the up-and-coming 23 or maybe 24 draft pick. So I need to know from you lot. And Mo, more importantly, I want to address you first, because I read those ESPN reports turn around and projecting that he was going to be ranked around 43rd in terms of with his package and what he was bringing to the league. He's still going to have another growth spurt, as we know. But I'm saying after watching those comments from LeBron James this weekend, Bronny James could be actually worth a lottery pick. What do you think?
JD, I don't like this conversation. Bronny James is a high school kid. He's not even in college yet, and we're talking about he's going to go second round, he's going to go first round. That's a lot of pressure. We need to let the kid be a kid and develop his game and be Bronny James. Not LeBron's son, be Bronny James and play his style of basketball and do what he wants to do. You know, I don't pay attention to them saying he's going to be second round, he's going to be first round, whatever it is, because we got to wait and see how he plays in college and how those skills are going to translate to the NBA. So I can't look at it through that lens. I look at it through this lens. If you're a team in the NBA, particularly in a small market, I would, without question, try and get Bronny James in the draft if it means LeBron James will also sign with me. The reason being, you guys know the phrase, secure the bag. Because I'm not talking about the on-court product. Because if you're a team picking in the lottery, the chances are you're not competing for a championship anyway. LeBron James will not only give you a boost on the court, but you've got to look at the off-the-court impact as well. There's a study that showed LeBron James would generate $65 million off the court for any franchise that he played on in one NBA season. Across 5 seasons with the LA Lakers, they said he would bring $400 million of economic impact to the city of LA. So I don't know what else is going on and who's going to be picking in the draft first, second, third. But if you're a team who's not planning on contending, because if you are a contending team, bringing in LeBron might throw off your chemistry a little bit because, you know, he needs the ball in his hands to be effective and he's going to demand a bigger role. Also, he's going to take a bit of the spotlight, so you don't want to mess up a good thing. That's why I'm not too sure about him rejoining the Cavaliers, although I think without question they'd be in the NBA Finals if he did. But I think if you're a team in the lottery and you want that influx of cash because you know you're going to sell out the arena every night with LeBron doing his retirement tour, you're going to sell out a ton of jerseys as well, get the money, and you're going to get LeBron for a season. He's going to elevate the play. Maybe, though, you're going to miss out on a player that you could have taken with that pick, with all due respect to his son, that maybe you should have picked that would set you up for the next 10, 15 years. So it's a difficult decision to make. And I think the question completely depends on which team is making that pick.
I can respect what you're saying. And I can appreciate having younger members of my family. I couldn't imagine the pressure on a 15, 16, 17-year-old when someone's talking about your future projections for the next 20 years. But BJ, the NBA is a business. And at the same time, this isn't the first time we've had a teenager be in the spotlight, regardless of their affiliation with their father. I think about LeBron James Sr., or I think about Kobe Bryant. They were both spoken about well into their high school careers. So I ask you, looking at the projections and looking at the way that this lottery system does work out, is Bronny James worth a high draft pick in the NBA when he does become eligible?
Well, guys, being a parent, this is a very sensitive subject and topic for me because I can't shut off being a parent, right? And one of the things in my own personal life I elected to do was I didn't want to have kids while I was playing. And I've been able to witness, because of the business and the profession that I chose, I've been able to witness what it's like for young people to grow up when one of their parents, they are famous, and the problems that come with that. And as I'm listening to this conversation, I'm reminded again of all the problems, which is part of it is Bronny is going to be compared to his father. And that comes with a lot of different issues and problems that you have, right? You have the social issues that come with it. You have the emotional issues, but more importantly, psychologically, we're saying we're going to just take this young man who's 18, 19, and then suddenly thrust him into a business with literally no preparation other than, his father played. He's still a kid. I don't care what they say. He's still a kid, and that's going to come with his own set of problems that he'll need to come if that happens or he makes that choice. So I'm very sensitive to this. I've happened, because of what I do in my daytime. I talk to a lot of scouts. I haven't heard a scout yet tell me that, LeBron James' son is a lottery pick. I haven't heard one yet say that. And that's not to say what that's going to look like a year or two from now, because he is so young. But as of today, I haven't heard anyone say that. So I would hope that he continues on his path. I hope that we will be saying Bronny, and I would hope, I have so much pleasure when they say this, oh, you're such and such dad. I'm not, the dad that played in the NBA. I'm just the dad. And I would hope that Bronny can find his way. And anyone who has a famous parent, that they find their identity within this superstar theme, because this is a totally different world. Nothing ever prepares you to be famous. And I would hope someday that we will be talking about what Bronny did on the court, what Bronny has achieved. And, oh, by the way, I didn't even know he was the son of, because that's going to be very important for his maturity. And I think every child, every kid deserves that, because with having a famous parent comes with a lot of pressure. And I've seen that up close, and it's a very difficult one to overcome. So I would hope someday that whatever he decides to do, whether he's a second round pick, first round pick, lottery pick, that he will find his way and make his identity. And whatever that is, hey, so be it.
You know what? I think sometimes we have to bring it into context. And we talk about it all the time, all the talent that's been in this league and all the different of it. But BJ, as one of the select few that have actually played in the NBA, how difficult it is just to make it to the league.
Yes.
You are the 0.001% that have actually said that I played in the NBA, whether that was the 15th man on the bench or the franchise player. Do you think that maybe we should take a step back and look at Bronny James as just an individual component, rather than all of the legacy that's around him?
Yeah, for him, look, to have this opportunity to play. I mean, selfishly, if you said, man, I have a chance to play with my son, God, that's an amazing, amazing thing. And I understand what LeBron is saying, but at the same time, as a father as well, I got to get out of my son's way and say, it's his time, it's his moment to shine. So there's a delicate balance here. I think I just want to keep it in perspective, because there's one thing, guys, I've always tried to have this perspective on what's real here. And talking about the NBA and talking about the economic impact, and yes, it is a business, but we're talking about a young person that has the rest of his life ahead of him. So I would hope that this young man, whatever it turns out, that he can do whatever and be the best version of himself. And I hope that for all kids and for all people, because that is truly the goal, right? Who am I? What am I? What am I going to do with my life? And for him to stand on his own 2 feet, because that's a big one to overcome. I got a guy here that's sitting on my shoulder, Michael Jordan. I saw that, and I saw that up close. So, that's a difficult one, because no matter what, he is going to be, he's going to be famous. And that comes with its own set of problems. And I can only imagine what today, with social media and all of those things, what comes with that. So I'm very sensitive to that, guys. And, and he's a kid. Bronny is a kid when it's all said and done. And as a parent, I just want to make sure that you don't rob young people of their childhood, because that's a very important part of the process as well.
It's going to come with extra pressure, because it's clear as day, Mo, that he loves the game. But it's clear as day as well that there's going to be the talk that he's probably getting on the court right now. You're LeBron James' son. You're this, you're that. First of all, how does he balance that? And secondly, just bringing it back, how much should we work on just his value and what he can bring as he builds his own name in this game?
Well, I think it's kind of impossible for him to get out of LeBron's shadow, because his name is literally Bronny James, and LeBron is arguably the biggest star in the world right now. So it's very difficult for him to get away from that. I know, I heard a story that he changed his jersey number because he didn't want people relating it to his dad or whatever it may be. But, I think it's very difficult to kind of separate the two after what LeBron said over the weekend. The fact that he's going to go and play wherever his son's drafted. He's basically guaranteed that his son is an NBA player because regardless of it being second round, first round, lottery, top 10, top 5, whatever it may be, there will be a team out there who wants a 40-year-old LeBron James because he will still be able to produce out there on the basketball court. So I think it's very tough. And I think, had LeBron not said those things, it would be a very different conversation and people would perhaps be evaluating Bronny for the prospect that he is. But now I think LeBron, his comments, as well they might be, could have added more pressure to the kid now. Because not only are you going to draft him, you're going to get LeBron as well. So, as much as, I think LeBron's a great talent and his son is going to be a great talent, I'm not jealous of the pressure that is on 17-year-old right now with the eyes of the world watching him. Because from this point on, every game he plays is now going to be heavily scrutinized, heavily over-analyzed by people who maybe aren't qualified to analyze those games. And I'm not looking forward to, if he doesn't have a great start to his career, the headlines that the media are going to bring for him, because I don't think any kid deserves that amount of pressure just because they happen to be related to someone who's great at their craft.
So I'm going to actually be very, very delicate in this verdict. Sometimes you have to listen to your OGs who have been in the situation, so shout out to BJ, and sometimes you have to listen to your brothers who very much understand the pressures and the narratives that come along with the game and sometimes be conspired in this media. So what I will turn around and say is this verdict is very clear that we are going to be very patient with Bronny James because he's probably going to have more pressure on his shoulders than anybody else in his draft class, unfortunately by a birth. But at the same time, what I think is important is that we judge him as an individual and we give him an opportunity to blossom and develop in this league as such.